Trump claims Canada can't survive without US subsidies. JD Vance blasts CBS reporter in first interview as vice president. Canada imposes 25% tariffs in trade war with US. Yo boy, welcome back to the channel. Today I have another exciting trending topics to discuss with you guys. But please, if today is your first time coming across my channel, please be kind to like my video, subscribe to my channel, join the Notice family, and without wasting much more time, let's jump into these trending topics whilst I break them down. President Trump is making some pretty bold claims about US financial support to Canada. He urges that the US is paying billions to subsidize our northern neighbor, saying without US aid, Canada will cease to exist. Trump goes on to suggest that Canada should become the 51st state of the US, claiming benefits like lower taxes, better military protection, and no tariffs. And this is what he posted on Truth Social, and then I quote, this is what Trump said. We pay hundreds of billions of dollars to subsidize Canada. Why? There is no reason. We don't need anything they have. We have unlimited energy. Should make our own cars and have more lumber than we can ever use. Without this massive subsidy, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country. Harsh but true. Therefore, Canada should become our cherished 51st state. Much lower taxes and far better military protection for the people of Canada, and no tariffs. Canada has imposed response tariffs on the US, signaling the start of a trade conflict between the two countries. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau unveiled sweeping tariffs of 25%, targeting 106 billion worth of US goods, including beer, wine, household appliances, and sporting equipment. This move mirrors US President Donald Trump's 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports, along with an additional 10% on Chinese goods, driven by his concerns over illegal immigration and drug trafficking.
Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the US trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances, furniture, and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much, much more. And as part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several non-tariff measures, including some relating to critical minerals, energy, procurement, and other partnerships.
Trudeau emphasized that he would stand firm for Canadians while acknowledging the potential impact on both nations.
We will stand strong for Canada. We will stand strong to ensure our countries continue to be the best neighbors in the world. I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors. This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people.
Trudeau even made a statement that Canada and the United States share the strongest and the most secure border in the world. He also mentioned that less than 1% of fentanyl entering the US comes from Canada, and that less than 1% of illegal immigrants crossing into the US come from Canada.
We have one of the strongest, more secure borders in the world between Canada and the United States. As I said, less than 1% of fentanyl going into the United States come from Canada. Less than 1% of illegal migrants going into the United States come from Canada. That doesn't mean there isn't more to do. And that's why we've invested $1.3 billion in strengthening our borders. And we're seeing over the past number of weeks, past couple of months.
Vice President J.D. Vance strongly criticized CBS journalist Margaret Brennan as she repeatedly pressed him on the decision to pause the Afghanistan refugee program. In his first interview since taking office, Vance talked to Face the Nation, hosted by Brennan, about President Donald Trump's executive orders including ending the country refugee program. During the Sunday morning interview, Vance defended Trump's move to halt the program while pushing back on Brennan's comments. She mentioned an Oklahoma man who planned a terrorist attack in October, calling it a very particular case. And this is what J.D. Vance, the vice president, said. "I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me." Vance responded, emphasizing his concern about refugees not being properly checked before entering the United States of America. Let's check the video out.
I support us doing law enforcement against violent criminals, whether they're illegal immigrants or anybody else, in a way that keeps us safe. Let me ask this question, Margaret. Let's separate the immigration issue. If you had a violent murderer in a school, of course I want law enforcement to go and get that person out.
Of course.
So what's the point of the question?
You changed the regulation this week. That's the point of the question.
Exactly.
Giving the authority to go into churches and go into schools.
We empowered law enforcement to enforce
but
the
that
law
also
everywhere
has
to protect Americans.
Effect.
No country says that temporary visitors, their children, will be given complete access to the benefits and blessings of American citizenship. America should actually look out for the interests of our citizens first. And that means, again, if you're here permanently and lawfully, your kid becomes an American citizen. If you're not here permanently, if you're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and don't plan to be, why would we make those people's children American citizens permanently?
I want to ask you about refugee admissions, which were just suspended by the president. That has nothing to do with the U.S. border. Refugee screening takes 18 to 24 months to go through. They are heavily vetted. Left literally at the airport this week were thousands of Afghans, some of whom had worked with the United States government and were promised to come here. When you talked to us in August, you said, "I don't think we should abandon anybody who's been properly vetted and helped us." Do you stand by that?
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals
but there are
have been properly
30,000
vetted.
people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary
Do you stand
concern
by it?
as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that
So
we
no.
know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These
It's
people are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted, and because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
All right, guys, that is all I have for you for now. Please don't forget to leave your comments, leave your thoughts. As I said, I would love to read them. Thank you for watching and hope to see you in the next video.